Do you like craft beer?
Do you like an unending wealth of puns?
What about 4-hour lectures on the ethics of cryptocurrency usage in third world nations?
No!
Oh, right.
But do you still want craft beer reviews and comedy, right?
Then listen to Hop Nation USA, a craft beer podcast.
Available on iTunes, Podbean, Google Music Play, and Stitcher.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not. Just listen to the podcast. Hop Nation USA.
Where all fine podcasts are sold.
You're listening to Miscast Commentary.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a Coming Attractions episode of Miscast Commentary. I'm Joe Finley, and conspicuous by his absence is Todd Murray. The C called, he refused the C offered overtime, so he is off this week. He will be back with us next week with our latest movie, and we got a good lineup of movies for you. We are in October, so we have a little bit of a horror fest for you, and we'll get to that in just a minute, but first I want to just talk a little bit about the goings-on in Hollywood and whatnot. First off, gotta talk about it. We'll talk about it again next time I'm with Todd because it needs to be spoken about. But it was uncovered that a lot of the hate against The Last Jedi was done by the Russians. This is a true story. This is a study that was done and found that most of the online hatred and the campaign of just anti-Star Wars, saying it ruined the franchise, all that stuff, started and was fueled by Russian trolls. So, fuck all of you. We are in a world now where every single aspect of your life is just being dealt with, or is just being interfered with by random Russians. This is where we are now. I'm not even that bothered by it, like in that if people didn't listen, it would just go away and you'd be like, haha, those guys are trying something. But everybody keeps buying into it. Russian trolls fucked over the US election. Russian trolls fucked over Brexit. Russian trolls fucked over Star Wars? What? I want to know the meetings. I want to hear what's going on. Or is it just a random, we're just going to attack anything that you can have an opinion one side or the other on? But it was crazy to me, and I'm sure more will come out about this sooner than later. But it was one of those things, and I think I said it when all the craziness started, was I didn't know that many people who didn't like the movie. I know some people were like, it wasn't as good as, or whatever, and that's fine, and people are entitled to not like the movie or whatever, but I didn't know that many. And then all of a sudden, it was a movement, and it just blew my mind. And not just because I'm a Star Wars fan, but it's just like bananas. I don't know. I'm starting to buy in now because people were talking about the DC universe and stuff like that. Now I'm almost wondering if the call for the Zack Snyder cut was also a Russian troll. That was my fridge exploding, I think. But yeah, anyways, that was that. And it was just one of those crazy things I just wanted to bring up. And yeah, we'll definitely talk more about this in the future. Next thing I wanted to talk about, honest to God, I watched this so late last night, or I read the article so late last night that I thought it was a dream when I woke up this morning. Rambo's got a new look. So for Rambo 5, anybody who doesn't know, it's going to take place at least partially in the U.S. He's moved back to the U.S. and he's taking odd jobs, and he's essentially a cowboy now. And when you see him, some of the press photos that they've taken and stuff like that, he's all, done up in cowboy gear and that sort of thing. And then it gets crazy from there with Mexican cartels or whatever it is. Yeah, it'll probably be like crazy, bloody, and gross like the last Rambo, which will be awesome. But it just kind of blew my mind. I was sitting there looking, I was like, I don't know, in my mind, I felt like, well, you might as well have just made him a robot. But, I mean, it's very logical, I guess. Not logical, but reasonable that maybe if he moved back to the States, he'd move to a small area where, he could be a little isolated and he's just taking odd jobs and stuff like that. So the kind of blue-collar, cowboyish kind of look works, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be all about. It's a very old man exploding people's faces with guns. So, take that for what it's worth, and I don't think it really matters what clothes he's wearing when he's doing it, so we'll see that as it comes. But I'm not going to keep you guys too long today, because, again, it's just me, and when it's just one of us, I think maybe we can control how long these things are, but when the two of us are here, it's really hard to press the stop button, and I don't apologize for that, because it's just more content. You can stop and start it as many times as you want. Might take you a month to listen to an episode, but that's fine. So we're just going to get right to it today. We're going to let you know what next week's episode is going to be, what the movie is going to be. We are doing a classic, but a remake of a classic. And I'll explain why in a moment. We are going to be doing the 1990 Tom Savini directed remake of Night of the Living Dead as our first October Horror Fest Halloween movie. The reason we did that one is A, that's the first one we saw when we were kids. B, it tends to fit more into that zombie verse because it's got a little bit more of the same shooting style. It's got more of the same effects. It's got more, all that kind of thing. And the tie-in of obviously having Tom Savini working on the second movie and being in it and then directing this one and all that kind of thing. We just thought that it was the better one. We will get to the original one. The original one is amazing. It is a classic, but we just wanted to do this one first. I don't know. We just get a kick out of that one. So we are doing this. We are doing Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 version. So if you're going to watch along with us, make sure you got that version. It's not the black and white one. It's not the colorized 1960s version. Tom Savini, Tony Todd's in it. Come on. Tony Todd's in it. Need I say more? I'm going to because it's a podcast and that's how just broadcasting in and of itself works. But let's take a listen to the trailer. I'm going to look at it. You listen.
They came to pay their respects.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Why do you have to be so cruel?
What?
Show some respect.
Now they're running for their lives.
A biologist in Stockton, California have released reports focusing on the phenomenon, specifically on that trance-like state.
Every shelter is becoming a trap.
Are you sure we're gonna be all right?
Cooper, you gotta help me out!
And every road out
Don't stop no matter what happens.
is just another dead end.
They're coming right for us!
George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
All right, guys, so there we are. Night of the Living Dead. We're getting October started off strong. I promise you guys we got 2 more movies coming up. We've got a second October episode, and then as always, we're going to have a Halloween bonus episode for your ass. So stay tuned for the next Coming Attractions episode, coming in 2 weeks, and you'll hear the titles for both of those ones, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I just wanted to thank everybody again who's been supporting us on tpublic.com, buying our shirts and that sort of stuff. We have a couple of new designs out there, a couple of more of the They Don't Make Them Like This Anymore designs. We've got an Indiana Jones style, we've got a Disney style, we've got our original Star Wars style, which I am currently wearing, but I'm not wearing bottoms. Deal with it. So get out there. It's tpublic.com/stores/Miscast Commentary, or you can find the link on our website across the top, and you can find it at the end of most of our episodes, and you can find it on Twitter. You can find it everywhere. We're not going to, we're not trying to make this difficult for you. But if you guys want to support the show, it's a great way to do it, and it's a million different things you can get on there. You don't just have to get a t-shirt. You can get a cell phone case, laptop case. You can order the stickers, any of those good things. I actually have the They Don't Make Them Like This Anymore sticker on my laptop that I'm recording this on right now. And yes, when I say people bought our shirts, I don't mean I bought our shirts and got all that stuff. I got that stuff as well. But I'm not counting me towards the final tally. But I should, because it would bolster it. You know me, faking numbers is one of my favorite all-time things, which backfired on me a lot when I used to online date before I was with my wife. But none of that matters. T-shirts. These t-shirts are great. They're comfortable, I can tell you from experience. So put one on. Also, on our store, we've picked out some other favorites from TeePublic, and you can use those ones as well. And look forward to a couple of Halloween-based ones. Not the movie Halloween necessarily, but just the spirit of Halloween, which will be available in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for those. teepublic.com. Is that too big of a commercial? Too short? I can keep going. I won't. But anyways, thank you all for all your support with that. And just thank you for everybody's support in general. We just had International Podcasting Day just passed, and so We reached out on Twitter and just, again, thanked everybody who listens to the show. And we've got a great podcast community out there. A lot of great podcasts like Poop Culture doing the Dueling Decades, and the people you've heard from lately in our promos. We had American Slacker and Hot Nation USA this week. And they've all been a really supportive group of folks out there. And we love to be a part of that community. And hopefully we are looking out for people the same way that people have been looking out for us. I think we have been, so awesome. Just want to give a shout out to all of you. Literally everybody. If you can hear this, if you can't hear this, you're all getting a shout out right now. Ralph Nader is getting a shout out, and he doesn't want anything to do with this. But I think we're going to just end it there for this episode, and we're going to see you next week. Todd and I are going to be back together. We're going to be doing Night of the Living Dead. We've already done it, so I mean, like, you know, peek behind the curtain, but it's done, and you will hear from us, and we should be back together for the next Coming Attractions episode, and you'll hear all about everything, because I don't know, we never mean to talk about everything we talk about. We usually go, let's talk about this, this, and this, and then the 30 additional things that made their way into our lives is just kind of, I don't know if I want to say a bonus or collateral damage, but I guess that's up to you, so something to look forward to. All right, everybody, as usual, find us at miscastcommentary.com. Email us podcast@miscastcommentary.com. Find us on Twitter at miscastpodcasts. Find us on Instagram at miscastcommentary. Find us on Tumblr, too. We've got our link available for all that. You can just search us, Miscast Commentary. We are available. Lots to do, lots to see in the world. I will remind everybody again that I was in last week's episode of Dueling Decades. Go on poopculture.com and check that out. It was September 1980 versus September 1990. I was on the September 1990 side. So go on there and listen to who won and see if you agree. All right, guys, we will see you all next week. Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Next week they will. This week, you're safe. Bye now. Okay, everybody, stop the presses. It's late in the day, and I'm actually very under the weather. I've got a super bad sinus infection. But anyways, doesn't matter. Just got some news from the Star Wars world. Some news that Jon Favreau's let out about his new show, the Star Wars show, The Mandalorian. First image came out. It's not Boba Fett. It's not Jango Fett. It looks like it. It's the Mandalorian armor and all that. And it takes place between Empire and Force Awakens. So we got all that cool stuff going. The image looks really cool. The directors, they started announcing the directors. Dave Filoni, who he did Clone Wars and he did Star Wars Rebels, all that kind of stuff. So you know you got somebody, if you are a fan of those shows, you've got somebody who's going to kind of give it that feel. But then on top of that, you've got Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard are going to be directing. That's gigantic. No word on whether or not Jon Favreau's actually going to direct any episodes himself or what. But, yeah, it's very huge. I didn't want to get into a whole thing or have to wait another 2 weeks to talk about it outwardly, so I just wanted to say that's pretty good news. And check out Jon Favreau's Instagram if you want to find that shot, or just look on IMDb or anywhere. You can find it, no problem. But that's really exciting news. Taika Waititi, I guess, a while back said he wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and I think that this is a pretty cool in to get to see what he might be able to do. Bryce Dallas Howard, this is going to be her first TV show that she's doing, so that's interesting in that standpoint. And you've got now a father-daughter connection in Star Wars, because of course Ron Howard did Solo, so that's going to be really interesting. And you also got Deborah Chow, who did some Jessica Jones episodes. So anyways, lots to look forward to. More news will be coming. I'm sure we will cover it as it comes. So anyways, that's all I had to say. We'll see you next week.
This has been Miscast Commentary with your hosts, Joe Finley and Todd Murray. Executive producer, Joe Finley. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Visit www.miscastcommentary.com for all news related to the podcast. Miscast Commentary is a Miscast Media production.